Hey there. So my next guest is a law enforcement officer, and he gets to talk about the challenges and the struggles of being an officer and engaging with the community. And kind of a behind the scenes look with an individual like experiencing what's going on. So I really think you guys are going to enjoy this one. Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the Gamerpreneur podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Bradford Carlton. Today, I have a very special guest with us. I have Ethan Daggett. Hey there, Ethan. How's it going?
Hey, how's it going? Not too bad, man. Just living life, living the dream, trying to get through day to day.
Fantastic. Where do you hail from, Ethan?
I am from Bluffton, Indiana.
I've never
Just
heard of that.
Yep, small podunk town. If you know where Fort Wayne's at, we're south of there.
Yeah.
If you know where Indy's at, we're north of there. So
Okay.
smack dab in the middle.
I'm familiar with those two cities.
All right, there you go.
All right. So, Ethan, what I like to do in this show is I like to just jump straight into it. Tell me a little bit about yourself, please.
Okay. Well, I'm 28. I work as a police officer in Indiana. I've been doing that for about 4 years now. Big baseball guy, grew up playing it, been playing it since I've been about 3 or 4 years old, was competitively playing at around 10, and we were in different tournaments around the country. I studied criminal justice while I was in college. I did not finish. I did drop out. Played football and baseball in high school, went on to play collegiate baseball. Had a scholarship at a college here in Indiana with that. Ended up when I stopped playing in college and dropped out, my father actually passed away when I was about 19 years old. So that was a big hurdle that I needed to jump over, something that nobody really expected, but I mean, who does when you're that young? So after that, I started working at a bait and tackle shop. Was working 4 days a week there, roughly like 16-hour days. So that wasn't too fun. It was just tiring work, not as far as like physical goes, but just the day-to-day was so boring and nothing to do. So I was just kind of sitting back and
But you get to watch the worms wiggle.
did that. And then all the crawfish and the minnows and stuff. It was a good time. After that, my brother helped me get a job at the factory that he worked at. And that was actually in Huntington, Indiana. So that's where it was a rim repair factory. And so what I did there was they called it a straightener. So basically you would be sitting at a station and with a mallet and a hammer, you'd be beating rims back into place to where they're actually straightened out enough. And then after that, it gets put off to somebody else to do some other miraculous work to make sure that it's actually going to work whenever people try and use it on a vehicle again. But after that, I began to kind of spark my interest back into law enforcement. I went into a police process for the department that I currently work at and was going through all of that. Well, I didn't have any experience, and a big thing for, most places anymore, it's, hey, do you have any experience in anything that is relative in the field? Well, I didn't at that time. All I had was an unfinished college degree, was a factory worker, help people get worms. Like, I didn't have much to go off of there. So I didn't get the job. But while I was there, one of my current coworkers had actually told me that, hey, there is a job here at the jail. I might be able to get you in for an interview if you're interested in it. So of course I was like, yes, that's a step in the right direction. Let's see where we can go with this. Push come to shove, I ended up getting the job at the jail. So I worked as a confinement officer and dispatcher there for about a year. And that is when I reapplied for the Bluffton Police Department, and I ended up getting that job the second time that I applied for him. So that's where I've been for about the past 4 years. Big things for me in my life. The gym and video games were huge stress relievers for me. So those are two things that I like to do to kind of like take my mind off of different things and really just kind of keeps me level and keeps me on the same path. That's why streaming has become such a big thing for me. It's just become so fun, and I can just hop on the stream and do whatever. Fantasy football. I love fantasy football. I don't know if you play or not, but
No.
it's a big one that I do. I'm in about 3 leagues a year. So And then I'm a big homebody. I like being home, so streaming is kind of perfect with that. I just get to kick back at my house, chill with my dog, and play some video games.
Fantastic. All right. Well, first, let me say thank you for your service.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely. That's as political as I get on this show.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So you have so much to unpack there, but before I get to any of that, I start every interview with a single question. So I'm going to ask you just like I ask everybody else.
Okay.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being high, how weird are you, Ethan?
Oh boy, the funny thing about that is I think it's going to depend on who you ask. But if you ask
I'm asking
me,
you.
if you ask me, I think I would put myself at about a 7 out of 10. If you ask some of my friends, they might put me at a more of a Death Stranding weirdness level. It might be at that game's level of weird. So I think that might be where it's at. But I'm
That
gonna say
needs its
7 out
own
of 10.
scale.
I think that's off the charts.
I love it. Okay, so before we talk about anything else, this is the Gamerpreneur. So I do need your gaming cred. When did you first start playing video games?
I was probably, I would like to say 3 or 4. It would have been early. It would have been early because I specifically remember my dad being the one that got me into like video games and like showing me the ropes, if you will. I remember the first console that we had was an N64. So we were playing that a lot. And I do remember the Sega Dreamcast because I remember playing, was it House of the Rising Dead?
Yeah.
Or is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Okay. I remember playing that and shooting the gun at all the zombies on the TV. But yeah, I would have been young because I remember the first 2 games that I remember playing in my life are Star Wars Shadow of the Empire and Ocarina of Time.
Both classics.
Yes, absolutely. And then later in life, I mean, my dad loved the PGA Tour games, the Tiger Woods games, and he was like God tier level at that. And I remember him always wanting me to pick up a controller and play with him, and I would always get upset because he would just stomp me. And I'm like, I don't want
As
to do
dads
this.
are supposed to.
Oh yeah. And it was bad. It was like I'm shooting 4 under and he's shooting like a 27 under round. And I'm like, dude, like why? Why do you need me here? Like this is bad. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it was early, 3 or 4 years old is when I first started. So I've just been going strong ever since.
Wonderful. All right. And what do you play today?
Right now, I stream a variety of stuff. I recently just got into Rogue Company. That game's a good time. I play a lot of Call of Duty. The single player games that I have been playing, well, it's a co-op, but I've been playing a lot of it single player is Remnant from the Ashes. It's kind of Souls-like type of game, but those are the ones that I have been playing. And then I've been touching on Ghost of Tsushima every here and there. That's an incredibly beautiful game.
Oh, it's gorgeous, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh my gosh,
every
it
scene looks like a painting.
Yeah. I didn't expect that I would like it as much as I do, and I love that game. It's just beautiful.
All right. So Ethan, you've been playing most of your entire life. If you had to pick one game out of all of them, what's the number one favorite game?
Hands down, Ocarina of Time, 100%. It was just, I feel like it was so ahead of its time when it did come out. Like that, it was just so awesome on so many levels, and so many people cherish it for so many different things. And then I've got the huge like nostalgia buildup behind it too. So there's just all these different things that come together, and then you throw that on top of it, and it's just like I can't choose any other game other than that. Like every single time that I go back and play it, no other game makes me feel the way that game makes me feel.
Isn't it funny going back to those games? You're like, I don't remember it looking this janky.
Yeah, you go back and you're just like, I don't remember it looking like this, but I'll play it still.
Those rose-colored glasses, I used to play on the NES originally, and I go back and like, I don't remember Mario sucking so much.
Why can't I make this jump?
All right, I love it. So let's get over to the preneur part. You are a police officer, law enforcement officer. Tell me about that. How is that?
It's a lot. There's a lot that goes into it. It's a rough profession to be in. I didn't expect the amount of like difficult like scenarios that we would be put into. I kind of had my general idea, but that was before I was even in it. But especially now more than that, and I'm not going to go on a rant about everything that's going on because it's unnecessary, but just now more than ever, it's hard to find people to even apply. And that's the thing that makes it so hard for us now, because we want good applicants, we want people to apply, but no one's going to. There's all this stuff going on, so it is what it is. But as far as a profession itself, like I love it. I couldn't see myself doing anything else for a day-to-day job right now, and I felt that way for a while, just because I enjoy like being with people, dealing with people, talking with people, just trying to bridge the gap between community and law enforcement is one thing that I actually enjoy doing. And I mean, community policing is a big part of that. And that's what I enjoy doing, especially where I'm from, just because we're not in a very difficult area where it is to do our job. I feel very blessed.
3 horses.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're in a very good place where we're at. So I'm happy about that. But it's just, there's a lot of different things. And I mean, you hear people talk about it all the time. I mean, we're expected to do 20 different jobs on the same night, but also keep a level head and do everything else. It's just, you don't know how many things that you have to learn to try to do until you work the job for a while and you see kind of every little thing that goes into law enforcement. And it's a lot. There's a lot of things that we're expected to do. There's a lot of things that we're expected to be very proficient at. And one of those things is simply just talking to people. If you're not good at talking to people, you're not going to be a very good officer. So that was a big hurdle that I had to get through immediately, because when I first came on, I was not that great at like striking up a conversation with just somebody that was just there. Like I would just sit there and I'd be like kind of awkward, wide-eyed, like, hi, I don't know what you want me to do. I don't know what I need to do, but like I'm here. So if you have any questions, you can talk to me. But it was just one of those things that I had to get through and get over. That way I could do my job better and be more proficient in that way.
Wonderful. So I want this show to be very educational, right? Part of it is I want people to understand the different types of jobs out there. And that's why I'm interviewing real people, real gamers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So can you give us kind of an idea of what the day-to-day is like? If maybe someone's out there who's interested in going into law enforcement, what do they need to know what the day is?
Okay. Pretty simple. Seems simple to me now, but what we do is we'll come on to shifts. We'll have a decent little briefing about what happened the shift prior. If you're on days off or on vacation, you get briefed on stuff that had happened throughout the week while you weren't there. Other than that, we do a lot of patrolling. So when I say patrolling, if nobody knows, just getting in our police cars, driving around the community, making sure there's no active crime in progress if we can see it. Running traffic, if there's any vehicles that are driving erratically, have any type of infraction type of thing, like no plates or plates that are expired and stuff like that, which I try not to go too hard on, because if I see it, I see it, but I'm not looking for that type of stuff. What I look for is more active crime or generally suspicious behavior, things like that. But we'll drive around a lot just looking for something that we can respond to that we have created ourselves, kind of a self-initiated activity. Other than that, all we do is we wait for calls to come in. So we respond to all 911 calls, most of the medical calls that come out. If people need EMS, we're there to assist the medics in there. And then we respond to general little calls, maybe little complaints, civil issues, stuff like that.
Very cool. Okay. What surprised you most about the job when you first started?
I think it would be how quickly I could adapt to stressful situations. I didn't think that it would be that, I won't say easy to get through it, but just to get used to it. Because a lot of things that police officers can see, would kind of make someone wide-eyed or be like, what's going on? Like, how I can't do this. But we respond to that so often that it's almost like second nature, that we're just like, okay, well, here's what we do, this, that, blah, blah, blah. I think just the cool under pressure aspect, I think, was the surprising thing that was so crazy for me to understand, just because it was, wow, last year, if I would have looked at myself in this call, I would have had no idea what to do. But now I'm like clear, calm headed, like I've got a clear head. I know exactly where I'm going with this, and here's what we're doing. I think it's just mentally the quickness that you can adapt to situations. I think it surprised me a lot.
Wonderful. All right. Now, what skills do you possess that the average person doesn't, that would not make them qualified for the job?
Uh,
In other words, what makes you good for this position?
um, I think from a mental health standpoint, I think having a strong mind, that's one of the big things nowadays too, that people are talking about, is the mental health issue that's just going rampant. I think mentally, mental fortitude, I have a lot of. If you don't have thick skin, also, you're not going to be a good cop. You're going to be called every name under the book, and if you don't have thick skin and you can't take it, it's going to be a long career for you, because you're not going to make it. So really, it's going to be a short career. um, Other than that, I think manual dexterity is one that people don't think about a lot, but one that should be mentioned, whether that comes to firearms training or DTs or just any small thing that we would have to do. I think it plays in a good role. And then you have to be a quick learner. We've got a short field training period that you have to pass so many different things, and that's away from the academy, that you have to pass. So you could make it through the academy, but if you don't make it through your field training, you won't make it on the department. So I think being a quick learner and learning how to adapt to situations quickly and just be quick on your feet as far as critical thinking. Those are some big ones, especially critical thinking, because people don't think about it a lot. But when you're in a stressful situation, your brain's going to either shut down, or you're going to think about a way to kind of get past whatever situation you're in, or how to figure it out. So you got to be quick on your toes and have some really good critical thinking skills that'll get you through that situation.
Wonderful. Thank you. Now, do you have any advice for anybody who might be interested in going into this field today?
Yeah, I would say make sure that you're thinking hard about your decision, because I would refer to this profession as being a calling, as cheesy as that sounds, or as cheesy as that might come off. It is a commitment. It's a commitment to your community. It's a commitment to your department, and it's a commitment to yourself and your family, if you have a family. There's a lot of dangers that can go in the day to day. You need to make sure that you're aware of them. If you're having any trouble landing a job, or say that you have been applying places and you just can't get it, I would say if you're not working at a jail or a dispatch center, those are two different ways that you can really, really, really gain the knowledge that you need to start going into the route of becoming a law enforcement officer. Education is big. I know people hate on education a lot for law enforcement just because it's not experience, but education is also a very good way to kind of up your experience and make sure that you're kind of learning the ropes. But the main two things that I would say is, if you're having trouble with getting the job, I would say apply at a jail facility or a dispatch center, and just make sure that you're really thinking about what it is you're getting into, because it is a commitment and it's a lot. You're going to get called out. They're going to ruin dinners. They're going to ruin plans. It's going to be a lot. You're going to get called away from several things. So just make sure that you're prepared for, I guess, expect the unexpected if you go into it. So
Certainly. All right. So Ethan, tell us a little bit about your stream. When did you start that?
I started about 5 months ago in March. It was my friends that actually initially pushed me through to really get started on it. I I was kind of hesitant on doing it because I just wanted everything to be perfect. And had I not had that mindset, I probably would have started years before. But here we are anyways. But yeah, they were the ones that really got me started into streaming. And like I said, that was about 5 months ago. And I think the first day that I started, I didn't run something right, and it set me off because I was just like, oh great, well this is why I didn't want to start in the first part. Like something's wrong with the stream because it was all choppy and not looking good. And then I figured out that I had to run my OBS as administrator, and it fixed the problem like the next day. So I was like, oh cool, these little things really matter. But no, we do a lot on the stream. We do quite a few giveaways. We do. There's a lot of Call of Duty that we play. There are tournaments that we're trying to get in the loop that we can start to get maybe more of the community involved in what we're doing and what we're streaming. That way we kind of bring people together and to feel like more of a, I guess, homey feel with the stream. But yeah, we play a lot of Call of Duty. We play a lot of like RPG single player games. The Souls series, I'm a huge fan of. I think Miyazaki is a master with what he does, and From Software is just such a good studio. So, yeah.
Wonderful. Now, what are you hoping to do with your stream? Is this like a long-term thing, replace your job, or is it just going to kind of on the side?
Right now, it's just on the side. I would love nothing more than for it to become a full-time thing. I just know that's a lot of work and it's a lot of hours, which I've been putting a lot of hours into the stream. But yeah, I would love for it to become a full-time thing. It would just be such a, I don't want to say easy thing for me to do, but I would love to just be able to entertain people and bring people together in a certain space. That way we can all just kind of have fun, hang out, and then be able to do that day after day after day. Especially with how stressful my day-to-day job is, I think it would be just a miracle if it would happen. I would love it.
For sure. All right. So, Ethan, I want to talk about you a little more personally if we can. All right.
Yeah.
So, if we could go back in time, roughly 9 years when you were 19, okay? And right after your dad passed, if you could go to your past self, little Ethan, and you go, look, Ethan, this is what's going to happen over the next however many years of my life or your life. But here's the one thing you need to know and consider. What do you tell yourself?
I tell myself, buck up, finish college, finish your degree. You're paying money for this. Don't be stupid. Is the first thing I would tell myself. No matter what, even if it's hard, finish your degree. The second thing I would tell myself is everything's going to be okay. You have many people that love you, and you're going to have tons of support. The relationships that you will form in the next 5 years are going to be ones that define your future. So relax and try to take it day by day. Also, I would tell myself to stay in baseball. I love baseball so much, and that's one of my regrets is not playing all throughout college. So I would tell myself to stay in baseball. Yep, keep playing, keep going after that degree, and just try not to worry. Everything's going to be okay.
Fantastic. Okay. So you've already told us about, not finishing college, and you seem to hold on to that as kind of a failure in life. See, I believe that our failures in life teach us the most.
Oh yeah.
When you get smacked in the face, you have to figure out what happened, and figure it, dust yourself off and then move forward.
Right.
So other than school, what do you consider your biggest failure in life, and what did you learn from it?
Oof. See, I even read that question, and that was the one thing I was going to say.
Oh, you've already mentioned it several times now.
Oh, biggest failure. Other than school, let me see here. I might have to say not pursuing law enforcement at a federal level, which I think it goes hand in hand with the school thing, but that was a big dream of mine. Like my big dream when I was in college, the thing that I really wanted to do, I wanted to go and I wanted to be a U.S. Marshal.
Oh, they have it cushy, the marshals.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the same as the bait and tackle shop. They sit around.
Hey, don't judge me on what I want to do. No, yeah, that was one thing that I really wanted, and I think when I dropped out of college, I came to the realization that I wouldn't be able to do that unless I went back to school, and I still haven't. But that's also when my interest drew from federal to the local level. So yeah, I don't know. There's times where I think about it and I was like, that would be awesome if I were doing that today. And there's times where I think about it and I'm like, I have no idea where I'd be at today
Hey, it's still
if I
possible. I've known
tried that.
officers who
Yeah.
started out as city officers and moved up to federal to the marshal.
Yeah. Yep. So it's still on the back burner. I'm thinking.
Okay, wonderful. That's just me adjusting my camera. It's a little fuzzy.
Oh, you're good.
So, okay, wonderful. What are you working to improve on in yourself today, Ethan?
So I think the biggest thing with me, and I think a lot of people would say this, and a lot of people who probably will watch this, my friends, if they watch this later, will probably be like, "Yep, he's exactly right." I'm an emotional brick wall. So if I have stuff that's going on in my life or like something that's bothering me, and people will ask me about it or try and get emotion or a response back to what's happening, it's just stonewalled. Like, nope, not talking about it. Don't need to. I'm okay. Don't talk to me. We're all right. And it's one of the things that I've had to work on for a while. Because I don't know. It's not that I have the like, oh, I'm a big tough guy, I can't handle this, like all that, but it's just I don't know. It makes like, if it makes any sense, it makes me feel like more vulnerable than I want to be. And so like, I don't like that feeling. So I think that's why I have such a big issue with like opening up and talking to people about like exactly how I'm feeling or exactly what's going on. So that's something I'm working on.
Thank you for sharing. Okay. Kind of a fun question. All right. What do you think people misunderstand about you when they first meet you?
I would have to say that they probably think that because I have a very laid back attitude. And it doesn't seem apparent in the podcast because I'm talking a lot, but like I'm very laid back, calm, reserved. Like I can feel like I can look like I don't have a care in the world. So I think that's one thing that people misunderstand as maybe like not caring or even possibly laziness. I get it all the time when I'm working. It's crazy. I'll be on a fairly stressful or serious call and be talking with somebody about it, and people will get upset with me because their emotions are up here, but I'm down here, so they're upset that I'm not like on their level emotionally.
Thanks, ma'am.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. Like, I care about what's happening. I'm just like, I can't scream at you to figure out like why you're yelling at me. Like, that's not going to help the situation. So yeah, definitely not other officers that are that way with me, but like different people in the community. And I have so many instances where that's been the case, where people get upset with me just because I'm not, I guess I don't seem out of care. Like, I'm always just cool, calm, reserved, like cool as a cucumber, as they would say, and very calm minded. And they just have issues with it, and people misunderstand it all the time. It's kind of crazy that they think that like I wouldn't care about them or care about what's going on just because I'm more like stand back, take in, see what's going on, and then kind of tackle it head on. So
Yeah, sure. I mean, you're just trying to do your job.
right, yeah.
Okay.
So
All right. Ethan, this has been fantastic. How do people find you? Where are you at on social media? What are your handles?
I am on Twitch. I stream on Twitch. It's twitch.tv/TheDaggs. I am on YouTube. It's at TheDaggs Gaming. And then I haven't put up a Facebook gaming page yet, but that's going to be in the works here soon. So
Beautiful. All right. Do you have any final thoughts you want to share, or anything I didn't ask that you think we still need to cover?
I think we got a lot of it.
All right. Well, on that note, Ethan, thank you so much. I genuinely appreciate you coming on today.
No, I appreciate you having me on. It's a big deal to be on with you. I appreciate it. I've been keeping up with you for a while now, so it's pretty cool just to be sitting here and talking with you. So I
I
appreciate it.
appreciate hearing that. I really do. All right. Thank you again, Ethan.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, you have a good one, okay?
You as well. And then for everybody else, I'm going to remind you all, don't be just a gamer, be a gamerpreneur.